Hail and well met, and welcome to Dungeon Mastiff, a channel about creating original D&D content right here for you. Please consider supporting us on Patreon at Dungeon Mastiff. Alright, today we'll be making a river bridge battle map in Dungeondraft, a great piece of software for map creation. Let's dive right in. Here we are on the main screen, and we'll go ahead and select the new option and an A3 map. I like A3 maps best because they're a kind of perfect ratio, if you know what I mean. You know, you get a lot of landscape and background while you get some good options as well. So we're going to the terrain brush, change the dirt to some grass, because around our river we want a lot of plants to be growing. It's all fertile and everything. That's great. So we'll go into the water brush. We'll select a decent sized tool, maybe a bit bigger than that, so we can get a decent sized river. How about this? Yeah, that's good. Alright, we'll draw it down, meandering like so. Make sure the top is completely connected so it looks like the river has a source, like it's coming from somewhere and it's going to somewhere. And just make this river a bit wider maybe, so we can get a lot of stuff in the river and get lots of detail on it. That's great. So we'll go to the path tool, select the cliff and drag it along the edge, right along the edge of the river. And we do this because you notice the water generation in Dungeondraft makes a whole bunch of craggy edges at the edges of your water, and this isn't really what water's like. So when we drag the cliff along the edge, that just makes the water look a whole lot more natural. Keep dragging the cliff along the edge all the way down, right until the bottom. Double click to finish. There we go. So now, why don't we have a look for something, you know, to smooth the bottom of the river out. Sand will do. Just turn the intensity all the way up to 8. Get rid of all those plants on the bottom, because we want our river to be deep and mysterious, like a good river. And so we use the sand tool to make the bottom a lot like a clear blue, so you can see all the way down into this river. Alright, let's grab a bridge, like a nice bridge across this river. Maybe a worn down one will do. And double click to end it on a nice wooden plank instead of like a cut off plank, because if you use the path tool too much, you might end up cutting yourself off sometimes in halfway through a wooden plank, which we don't want. We want a nice looking bridge. So now let's try and find a rope for the bridge. That's a fence. There we are. That's a good rope. So we'll put it right alongside the bridge, or maybe a bit further out, so people have, you know, some space to walk on the bridge, grab the rope, a bit further out than that. There we go. A nice rope right alongside the bridge. And another rope, you know, to keep it company. There we are. Resize that rope. That's great. We got a bridge and a couple of ropes. Great start. Alright, let's go into the object tool and find some things to anchor it down, but first, we'll save our project, call it River Bridge. River Bridge, there we go. Alright, let's look for a sandbag maybe. No, too big. Nothing for posts. How about some wood? Nah, that doesn't look right. How about a lamp? Oh, there we go. This nice bowl lamp. It's the right size, it'll give us some natural lighting later on. It's great. Alright. With that done, we can look for some piles of wood next to the bridge. Maybe whoever built this has left some of their extraneous wood on the side for some adventurers to pick up later or something. Make sure you change the angles around, and we'll drop a custom built pile of wood in here. Just lay one down, one above it, and one on top. That's how you make an easy pile of something in Dungeondraft. There we go. Now let's go to the terrain brush and drop a nice little path in here. Make the brush size all the way down to 1, and then just draw your nice little bendy path up to this bridge in, with some sand as the people walking along this path have worn away the grass beneath their feet. Make it loop around. How about let's try and put something down there for an interesting and dynamic map. So let's just grab the sand again and go right up to the top corner and just thicken it off a bit and finish the path off. That looks great. Alright, let's draw a little path down, and we'll make a nice little campsite down here. So a circle of sand, fill that in. Great. Now we'll grab the grass put it on intensity 4, and this is the important bit. In order to make a path look more natural, just click with your grass on intensity 4 right along the sand, and that'll add some nice little divots and bumps into the path, make it look more natural. Do it all on all of your worn paths, and you'll find it makes it look quite a lot better. On the campsite too, because that's also a path-like thing. And then we'll put our sand back on intensity 2, and fill in some of these holes so it doesn't look too unnatural, I suppose. There we go. A nice, natural-looking path. Now, we'll go to the object tool and grab some trees to fill the landscape in. Just put them down. They like to go right on the edge of the river. But, you know what? How about we'll try and make these rotate so they look like a interesting bunch of trees. Grab it on the scatter tool, and those will rotate it instantly for you. Just drop some trees lighting the path. Make sure not to cover up the wood. Just like that. Trees, trees, trees all the way around. Another bunch. Couple. Make a bit off screen so it looks like there's continual forest. And then, you know what, for some interesting eye-catching things, let's put a stump down. And another one of these interesting trees. Yeah, that's better. That adds some variety to our map. So it'll look good right there. So let's take this tree right out and put this really cool tree right in there. Alright, with that done, what we want to do is we want to get some shrubs. And this is kind of the second layer to how we make a forest. Put it on spread 1 and just drag your mouse around. And Dungeondraft, it's really cool. It'll automatically place the shrubs down at whatever spread you want. And just keep dropping the shrubs in all the way around, just like so. That's great. And now we'll just move that out of the way of the stump and grab some flowers. Some nice red flowers. There we are. Select all of them. Put the spread down to 0 so they're more thickly packed than the shrubs. And just drop a bit all around. Underneath the trees, the shrubs, everything. Great. Some nice little wildlife for our little river scene to grow with. And if you're new to Dungeondraft, this kind of 3-layered technique to making forests and underbrush is really effective, I find. It's my go-to method for making, you know, your stock standard vegetation and forest. So with that done, we'll go into the object tool and grab a tent and rotate it so it looks like it'll fit on this path, maybe a little more. That's good. Yep, just drop it in there. And then, how about these people have had a fire? Let's put a nice, not a stone one, they're kind of by themselves, I don't know, building a fire out of wood. And here's their firewood. We'll do that same pile technique, 1 to the left, right and on top. That makes a nice little pile for us. That's great. Put the scale back to 1 because it was down somehow. And then we'll get some supplies for this adventurer. How about a nice pile of barrels? And by now, just put, you know, to put 1 on the left, the right, and on top. Great. Maybe a pile of crates as well. A crate or 2. Grab a closed one. Rotate it on the angle. And maybe an open one. Maybe they've been having a feed recently. That's great. Now, these adventurers gotta arm themselves with something, so how about this nice hooked dagger on an angle again? Just drop it right in, that's great. Maybe they've been eating as well, so let's just put a plate in there. And that completes the scene, that's really good. Great, alright, this is looking really good, but I feel like it's missing something. Oh yeah, the river. So what we need to do is look up, not rocks, but boulders. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop these boulders right in the river to make it look like a natural rocky river. Make sure your scatter tool's on -100 below water, and drop in a bunch of big rocks wherever you feel they're needed. Great. Then we'll grab all the little rocks and just drop them in around the big rocks, like so. Maybe 4 or 5 per side, depending on how big the rock is. This one might only need 1 or 2, maybe 3. Let's go 3. Do the same for this one. And you'll notice that by putting the rocks beneath the bridge, it gives the whole map a kind of new dimension, which is what we were really looking for with these rocks. That's great. And now we'll just drop a collection of small rocks in, like so. Excellent. Alright. With that done, I think we're almost done with our river bridge map. Only a couple of things left to do. So, you know what? How about we get rid of this boring still fire, and we'll put in a roaring, crackling one. How about that? Great, just drop the wooden one right in, and we'll get some smoke. Maybe this has been stocked recently and it's burning ablaze. Oh, just like so. The smoke spiraling upwards like that. Maybe a smaller one. And just drop it in, and that just gives you the whole scene, really. A campfire, a nice river, and a couple of paths. Make sure to save your progress, and we'll go on to the environment tool. Now, the environment lighting helps you create a really good tone, but you don't want it to be too green or too dark. Just a nice dark hinting at green. That's great. We'll change the intensity of this light for the lamp down to 0.8 in the lighting tool, so it adds some great contrast and shadows to the map, and one big one for the campfire. And I think we're almost done. In fact, I think we are. And that's how we make our river bridge. Great.